Hello again, this is Andy Morgan of TTB, Total Therapy Birmingham. You may wonder why I'm sat in the car for the last two videos in the rain. I am taking an opportunity between my kids' beaver class and bedtime, so hey, why not? It seemed like a good time to talk to you guys. As I mentioned in the last video, I love to challenge perspectives. I love to look at the world around me and try and see it from a different view, different point of view. And in this video, I wanted to talk to you about how our teachings of our parents will skew, or have skewed, our perception on life. And this isn't a dig at all parents out there. I'm a parent myself, and the things we'll talk about today, I've done myself, and I know have been done to me and at me and for me by my parents and my grandparents. But it's only been the last year or so that my perception of perception has changed, and suddenly you see things in a whole different way. I remember watching a video on Taoism, and there was a fantastic phrase that said, once you see a bird in flight, you'll never see another one. And it got me thinking, why? And I got to the realization that every time we see another bird in flight, or we see another new thing, we'll always relate it back to the first time that we saw it, and it was labeled, the first time that it was given a label to us as a recognizable thing. And generally speaking, if we see a bird, we just go, it's the same as that one. It's the same as the one we saw before. It's the same as the one we saw before. But that means that we never look at the bird in flight and really look at it. Or how often do we? And if you think of when you're a child, and you're crawling around and you're learning things, and you're shown those picture books, and you're shown a picture of a cat. 4 legs, ears, a tail, whiskers. Cat. So you create this structure, that shape equals cat. So what happens when you look at a picture of a dog? Most kids will then go, cat. It's got 4 legs, it's got a body, got a tail, got ears, got whiskers. It's a cat. And the parents suddenly rushing, going, no. It's a long nose. It's a dog. So suddenly you have 2 things. You have cat and dog. You see a horse. 4 legs, body, ears, sort of whiskery bits, tail, long face. Dog. No, that's a horse. So each time the child is looking at these cars or looking at these animals, the only thing that they can relate it back to is the previous label that they were given. Before that, it was just a thing. It was just a thing to explore. But then you look at, you've got a horse, then you've got a cow, you've got a giraffe. I mean, how many kids have you seen running around who see a man and they go, "Daddy!" To quote a old sitcom, Not the Mama. A man in their life who is not their mother is daddy. So they see a man, they call him daddy. Which is hilarious when your kid does it and when anyone else's kid do it, in my perspective. What I'm getting at is we're fed shapes, we're fed structure. But if we live our life by this structure, we never see anything new. If that child was only ever shown the picture of a cat, every animal with 4 legs, a body, ears, a tail and whiskers is a cat. Every single thing. So how narrow is that child's perspective? It's only as narrow as the labels that it was given as it was growing up. But the problem is we don't do this with just animals. We look at trees and the world around us and houses, and they always get compared back to the first time that we saw it and the first time it was labelled. But this goes on to emotional sides as well. We have an emotional event, emotional trauma, and we give it a label because we don't know what the hell's going on. Every time we come across a situation that is similar to that time, our brain, rightly or wrongly, labels it with the same emotional response. And this is where our insecurities come in. This is where our triggers come in. We go through life reacting to events that may have happened last week, last year, decades ago. But we've got a programmed response. A picture flashes up, cat. Picture flashes up, mean guy or girl. And our brain in that respect not only links to pre-trained ideals, it also makes an assumption. Have you ever seen anything out of the corner of your eye and asked yourself, I wonder what that was? Now, say you see a black flash. Corner of your eye goes from low to high. Your brain will go through a little bit of processing and goes, it's a cat, maybe a bird. But ask yourself this, what did you actually see? Your brain will say, well, I saw something black flash past, went from low to high. Therefore, based on my knowledge, it's got to be a cat or a bird. But that's an assumption. We're making an assumption based on a pre-labelled event. It could have been the most magical thing in the world that actually happened. But we didn't see it. Or we did see it, but we didn't label it as such, because we'd never seen that before. So I'm going to challenge you in this one. Next time you see something out of the corner of your eye, don't ask yourself, what is it? Ask yourself, what did I see? And then see what you find. See what new things that you experience. Next time you see an animal with 4 legs, a body, ears, a tail, and whiskers, really look at it. Even if it's just a cat. It might be, what kind of cat? Take a second to actually look at your world. Now, this is what people call mindfulness. People are very mystical about mindfulness. Mindfulness is just, a lot of it's paying attention. Looking at your world and actually looking at your world. Listening to your world, listening to the people around you, and listening to the words that they are saying, not what you think they might be saying based on your insecurities and your past experiences. So it's my challenge to open your perspective, open your eyes. I'll leave you with one final one, which is a brilliant example that I saw a couple of months ago. And again, parents who have done this, we've done this, parents have done this, and you've probably done this. There's a child with a box full of shapes, circles, squares, rectangles, triangles, and placing the shapes on a board. And she finished placing her shapes, and she'd just been using circles of different sizes, different colours. And her mother asked us, what do you see? And the little girl said, circles. And the mother looked at the child and looked at the board and went, I don't know, I see a flower. But who was right? That girl had been placing circles. She could have been placing squares, she could have been placing rectangles, she could have been placing any combination of any shape on that board. But it looked similar to, or represented, or had a similar shape to a flower. It had a stem, had 2 bits coming off the side, and it had a central bit with whorls around it. Looks like a flower. But the girl was right. She saw circles. The mother saw a flower. So the girl saw, in her youthful ignorance, beautiful ignorance, saw more in that picture than the mother did. So I'll leave you with that. How often do you look at something and just see a flower, rather than seeing what it's made of and what it actually truly is? Thank you very much. I've been Andy Morgan of TTB, and I will see you all very soon. If you like what you see, hit like, hit subscribe, and send me a comment, and I will catch you next time.